What's up, everybody? So this is going to be a little bit different of a ramble. It's going to be a question that I'm asking you all and that I'll answer myself. And this is for those who play 40k or are getting into 40k, and that is, what is your favorite non-special character HQ choice and why? Um, there's a lot out there, obviously, and there's at least a couple or a few per codex. So even if it's just limited to what you play, you probably have a favorite HQ choice that's not a special character. So, um, if you do, feel free to list it in the comment section with a little blurb as to why. For me, when it's all said and done, because I enjoy a lot of different things in 40k, and a lot of different HQs are pretty cool, and I'm a fan of a lot of the Space Marine HQs, for example. When it comes down to it, Chaplains, specifically the Interrogator Chaplain, is my favorite non-special character HQ choice. I just really like the Space Marine Chaplain's kind of fit, finish, and fluff, and Interrogator Chaplain takes that to a whole nother level, which is why it's my favorite of the Chaplains. But, it's the only thing I think the Werebears got right. Malcador the Sigilate basically decreed that the other legions, should have their own chaplains, based upon the Werebears chaplains, using that as the inspiration for it. So, inadvertently, they did something right, and he gave the Space Marines my favorite HQ choice, which is Chaplain, specifically the Interrogator Chaplain. Um, so, with that said, they're at the core of the chapter's spirit and spirituality, and what the chapter is at its core. I guess you could say the soul of the chapter spirit, which is a weird sentence to say, but they're at the epicenter of that. They are just really cool in terms of their fluff, and you combine that with the visual appeal that they have for me, with the being black armor, which is definitely something really cool and that stands out when you're looking at chaplains of Space Marine chapters that are not also black colored. If they don't use black armor, like let's say Salamanders or Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Ultramarines, their chaplains stand out that much more than chaplains of the Raven Guard or the Black Templars. But they still kind of stand out with all the imagery of death and battle, with their skull helmets and their skull shoulder pad and skull emblems everywhere. And by the way, I feel the skull helmet is part of what makes the chaplains look. I don't like chaplain models that don't have a helmet. When they're bareheaded, it's okay, but I prefer them to have a helmet. I think it helps complete their look specifically. So, with that said, all that together just visually makes them very grim, sinister, determined-looking individuals. Very much an opponent on the battlefield that would be very much an imposing presence. So that's very cool visually. I like that a lot. And you combine it with their fluff, and it just works really well. And with the Interrogator Chaplains, the best way I like to describe them real quick is it's like they are a hybrid of what an Inquisitor is and does, and what a Chaplain is and does, put together in the form of a Space Marine known as the Interrogator Chaplain of the Dark Angels. I really like that. It makes them a lot more grim, determined, and sinister individuals, and I really enjoy that aspect of them a lot. And visually, they're very similar to regular chaplains, so that visualness just works really well with the fluff of the Interrogator Chaplains. And just overall, really enjoy the Interrogator Chaplains the most out of all the chaplains. Model-wise, they got really cool models. The Interrogator Chaplain model I really like. I just wish the Power Fist arm was fully separate from the body and not just the fist itself, to make converting that or changing the weapons out a little bit easier. But it's still a very cool looking model. The jump pack model is really cool, and I had a model made up for me, converted up for me, that I painted for an Interrogator Chaplain on foot that I really like, obviously, because I had it done, and it looks really cool, and it's not a model you can buy, which is why I like it also for that fact. But the regular models for Chaplains do look cool. One of my favorite Chaplain models, hands down, is the Terminator Chaplain model. The current Terminator Chaplain model is fantastic. I think it's awesome. I think it really captures the visual ness of a chaplain, and combines it really well with the Terminator armor. So really, I'm a fan of that model for sure. And with that said, that's really all I have to say for being my favorite non-special character HQ unit. However, their Crozius Arcanum, really cool fluff-wise. It's an arcane weapon of theirs. It's basically a relic in its own right, and it's their badge of office and their righteous weapon. And I just wish it was a bit more unique, aka maybe a bit more potent, but definitely a bit more unique, because as it stands right now, it's got a lot of cool fluff behind it, but its stat line is exactly the same as the Power Mole, and it's been that way for a few editions now. And I just wish they would go ahead and do something to change that up. Maybe instead of +2 strength +1, you give it a strength of +1 but AP of 3 and keep it melee concussive, or something. Maybe keep what it is now and add rending to it or something. I don't know, but just something to make it feel a bit more unique. Because having the same capability and stat line as a Power Maul that any Sergeant in Power Armor could take kind of detracts from the coolness of it and the fluff behind it and everything. I think if it was a bit more unique, it would be very fitting for what it is. But aside from that, still, Chaplains and the Interrogator Chaplain specifically, hands down, are my favorite HQ choices. If I had to pick just one, it would be the Interrogator Chaplain, because it's still a Chaplain. So that's my favorite. Let me know what your favorite non-special character HQ choice is in the comment section below, as well as a little blurb as to why, and I look forward to reading it. So thanks for sticking through it, and until next time, take it easy.